Welcome back to Write, Publish, Connect, a video series by Axel Author Services. My name's Natalie, and today I am with Alexa, the founder of Axel Author Services. Hey, Alexa, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Natalie. How about you?
I'm having a great day so far, actually.
Good.
So once your book is published, every author wants the same thing. They want to be able to have a book signing, and most likely in a bookstore. Now, I have to say that I did a book signing and I did it in a venue. I didn't go to a bookstore, so that was an option that I took. But today you're really going to walk us through the steps of what that looks like to potentially get your book into a bookstore. So the
Right.
first thing I guess they want to know is, what do they have to do, to reach out to a bookstore? What would be the first steps?
So the first step is you want to make sure you're equipped before going into a bookstore, because in my experience, bookstores are very open to accommodating indie authors, but they still want to see some professionalism. So
Yeah.
what do you need? Well, you need copies of your book. Definitely, that's pretty much a no-brainer. I recommend that for sure. I think what's also important is to have a sell sheet or some kind of a flyer, a one pager that talks about your book. Now, a sell sheet tends to be a one pager that contains information about the book, information about the author, as well as the vital metadata. So metadata, what is that? We're talking about the ISBNs, we're talking about the retail price, the trim size, because this is all data that is relevant to a bookstore in general. You want to have some kind of a documentation. You want to have copies of your book. And obviously, you want to do a little bit of research in terms of what nearby bookstores there are. And then you want to go and pitch your book. And you can do this one of two ways. I have authors who do an email campaign or an email pitch. You can do that. So in that case, you would want to have a nice customized email, and you would attach that sell sheet or that one pager to your email. But there's also nothing that stops you from going into a bookstore and saying, who are you? You've recently published this book and you're just wondering if there would be an opportunity to do a book signing. And many authors are surprised to learn when I tell them, getting a bookstore signing is not that difficult. Getting a book tour, well, that's a whole other thing. But, just going into a few bookstores and being there for a few hours on a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon, it's not impossible.
So now you've secured your book signing at a bookstore, whether it be a big box or maybe a more indie option. What things should be considered or you should consider have at that signing? And obviously, folks, the books.
The books, definitely the books. I really recommend you want to make a presence, because at the end of the day, the fact that you're an indie author, you have to put in that extra effort to be considered professional and for people to notice you. And it's really not that difficult. One of the things that I recommend is always having some kind of a greeter. This is somebody who's got some personality, who has some self-confidence, is at ease talking with strangers, someone like you, Natalie, I guess, who will have some kind of literature. Usually I recommend postcards are really nice. You can get these printed at Vistaprint if you want, and just some kind of information, and position that person somewhere in the store where as people walk by, they can hand out that postcard. By the way, we have this author here today. You're welcome to stop by. So definitely something like that is really, really good. Have a photographer on hand. Doesn't have to be a professional one, but you want to document these events, because this then becomes content for your social media, for your website. And it also adds legitimacy in case any other media outlets want to feature you. They want to know, have you been out and about? Are you well put together? Do you know how to engage with an audience? So have photos taken. Very, very important. And I always recommend a bit of a gamification element. So what that really means is having some kind of an activity that facilitates the attraction of readers, as well as discussions, conversations. So a perfect example of this, if you're a children's author, coloring pages are so popular. Take illustrations from your books, get some coloring sheets, Come armed with markers and crayons and invite kids to go and color. That's always a great activity. If you've written a self-help book or something in nonfiction, have questionnaires ready. Always have something that is a natural segue into the conversation about the book. You want to encourage people to come to that table. And most people they don't feel comfortable because they're also afraid, oh, I'm going to get the big sales pitch. But if there's an activity, if there's something concrete that doesn't cost them anything, and it opens the door for you as an author to talk about your book, it's fabulous. It's very effective.
Incentive, right?
Exactly. And collect email addresses. So I find a
Yes.
contest is also really nice. So I've had authors, we've organized book signings where we've given away a basket of books, for example. So you can take books purchased at that bookstore that are all aligned with your genre or your theme, and you raffle it away. And for people to enter, they have to put their name and their email address. Of course, you want to be transparent that they will be added to your mailing list. Nobody likes being spammed. But that is another great way to encourage traffic and draw people to your table, your book signing table. And a reading, if you can. A reading is always really good, especially kids. Kids love listening to stories being read to them. And usually bookstores will allow that. You just want to make sure you have a spot that makes sense. So sometimes that can be a little difficult because on the one hand, getting right close to the front door is optimal in terms of visibility, but maybe not always the best spot to do a book signing just because of all the other traffic around you. So those are things to consider.
You probably want to stake out the space before you get there.
Absolutely. And usually bookstores, the manager, or sometimes if the bookstore is large enough, they'll have an actual events coordinator. They will meet with you and you can circulate. And very often they're happy to make you part of that decision-making process to a certain degree, of course. But yes, I mean, what is a space that makes sense?
So I'm assuming that if you you have a book signing at a bookstore, now you're hoping that those books will appear on the bookshelves. And
Yes.
is that an easy process? I'm not sure that it is or not. Can you confirm?
Sure. So definitely most bookstores, in my experience, once they've had an author there, they're happy to take some books on consignment. So that's where a consignment agreement comes into play. So you as an author, after you've had a book signing, maybe the bookstore might take 5 copies, 10 copies of the book, and you'll sign a consignment agreement. And basically the deal is the bookstore will obviously attempt to sell those copies, and whatever copies are not sold after a 60-day period, 90-day period, whatever that delay might be, then they're just going to ask the author to come back and recuperate those unsold copies. But that is definitely a really good way. And this is also why you want to have a successful book signing. You want the bookstore to take note. You want them to see, oh, this is a title that's appealing to readers. We're seeing people coming to the cash with a copy of this book. So that is another reason why a book signing is valuable and can have impact.
I mean, there's a lot of steps, and I think that it could be a little bit overwhelming. Is the team at Axe Author Services positioned to help authors make these signings happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we guide authors in this all the time. We can also design all the marketing materials. We have templates for consignment agreements, email pitches. We can do sell sheets. We can do the whole thing. So absolutely, they can just contact me or go to our website and they can get all the information they want.
I mean, and they got a greeter. Look at that.
There you go. They they have a greeter. Exactly.
Awesome. So if people are looking to go the next step, get their book published, they need a little bit of shepherding in that, how do they reach out to you to make sure that they can get the right guidance?
So our website is www.axelauthorservices.com. That's AAXEL authorservices.com, all one word. Or they can email me. I'm always happy to get emails. It's Alexa, Alexa, at axelauthorservices.com.
Perfect. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because the more followers, then you'll get notified for the next episode that comes out. And make sure you share it because you probably have a friend or somebody you know that's thinking of writing a book or is in the process of polishing off a manuscript, because remember that Axel Author Services, they will not let you publish crap. Thank you, Alexa, for this episode. And to each and every one of you who decide to do a book signing, good luck. Whatever you choose to do today, have an incredible day, and we'll see you soon in the next episode. Bye for now. See you soon, Alexa.
Thanks, Natalie. Bye.